Let's move on to platforms because I have a lot to cover. And the best way to bring this concept in is through Kusumana's 2 chapters. By show of hands, who all read the book? You did, kind of browsed it?
Skimmed it.
You skimmed it? Oh, that's great.
It was pretty long.
That's awesome.
They're very long chapters.
Yeah, it was like 180 pages.
That's awesome. What I'm going to do is I will post a final paper last year from the best student in the class, which will give you an idea as to how in depth the final paper can be. See, you went to great lengths in studying and applying the concepts, and we'll go through some of these concepts, all the concepts that she applied. You can check it, and she influenced me to give her an A grade. And there were a couple of others who were doing well, but she just, because of that, like she raised in my mind her stature as a student. And so why don't you summarize for the class what you thought the first 2 chapters meant?
Well, there's a lot about kind of like what I was talking about with Microsoft in my presentation, is that you know, in order to capture more market share, to capture your customers' loyalty and everything like that, you can introduce a platform to them where they consume your products on a greater scale. It also standardizes what you're doing. There was a great example in there about that you have to capture them not only in the product that you created and executing the idea, but also on the business end of things as well. And the part that really sticks out of my mind is that he was talking about EMC, my company, and he said in the early 2000s, EMC tried to create a platform whereby all different storage arrays from different companies could actually interact on the same wavelength, so that you could mix different company storage arrays and still have data integrity across your servers, whatever you have. And so they came up with this project, and there was a few iterations of it. I think the one they mentioned in the book was Wayfair, and they went to pitch it to IBM, and they went to pitch it to Oracle, and they went to pitch it to those companies, and they said, why the hell do we want to use your stuff? And so they came up with the platform, but they didn't execute on the business end of the deal. And then all those companies ended up getting together, and they formed the Storage Networking Industry Association, SNIA. And so then now there's a standardized independent body whereby all those things come together. So the platform was a good idea, but it didn't, EMC didn't end up executing on the business end of it. So
is Facebook a platform?
Facebook is a platform.
Why is Facebook a platform?
Well, it offers you
The APIs?
right, the APIs, and then you've
The
got
Facebook exchange for advertisers, for graph science,
so
for
there's some
number
products
crunchers?
that come out of Facebook
Yes.
for a consumer.
Facebook is a platform for Twitter. I just demonstrated that to you. And
Right.
vice versa.
So, you just have a lot more flexibility when you're offering a consumer a platform than just one single product. And you have a lot more opportunity to capture their business.
Anything that you would like to add, Sam, based on what you've
No, I mean, that's what I got out of the first chapter. And of course, the second chapter is about the services that you can sort of
Yes.
group in,
Yes.
sort of, along that line, just an additional element, I guess, to it. That, offering the products is an important thing, but there's a whole other sort of world out there.
See, the mantra
Services.
of Steve Jobs was create cool products. But he ended up creating, but that was an old mantra. He got caught on to the fact that it's not the product, it's the platform. The iOS is the platform. iOS, the iPhone and the iPad. The iPhone has the largest apps, or is it now Android? Okay, so let's look at this a little bit. What I want to position is the platform strategy. So the old way is in the left, and the new way is how you push, how you scale, and how you become an efficient player. So you pull, don't just push. You will get this buzz in your mind because I have gone through this at great length. Market pull vis-a-vis technology push. Pull, don't just push. It's not just about scale, it's about scope, creating multiple product lines. And the third one we'll get into if we have time. So this is like the whole book, pretty much. So what is a platform? So what we are saying is, I'll let you read that. So you should move beyond if you are a manager, an employee, a salesman, a lawyer, you should go beyond just strategy to think platforms, think complements. Facebook is a platform because of complements. Facebook and Twitter are great complementers. We just saw that. A platform strategy is different because it requires, as you know, an ecosystem. So you should have a strategy to build a platform. See, some microsystems have a Java community, JCP they used to call Java community page. And my friend she is now the director of marketing in Microsoft. She got me into some. She was a senior SLOAN. That's why I help, like my students, I help like junior SLOANies too. But they did not create, they created an ecosystem of Java users, but they did not, they could not leverage that in terms of a services business. And we will see that down the line. So the industry platform is a foundational product or technology or service used by one or more firms to make a variety of complementary products and services. And we will see the application of this not just in technology, not just in electronics, but also in finance and in any business you name of. This is the principle that's driving it. And it's just summarizing everything or synthesizing everything from macroeconomics, strategy, and all the research that's going on in the innovation space by Clay Christensen and all these guys. So this is again from the book. If you read the book, you will know what the ecosystem means. There are complementary. Just ignore for now I think he didn't get it right. He just put it in a hurry. The indirect and the direct network effects. Just had to write something. So because of the network effect, the number of users is skyrocketing. And after a while it's tipping in your favor, right? And the number of advertisers, content providers, channel partners creates a positive feedback loop. We are seeing it in Facebook. These guys are in hurricane mode, right? And they are driving the ecosystem and it has reached 1 billion users. That's 1 billion people, man. That's like the number of people in India. So what is the strategy spectrum? Spectrum, excuse me. So this is a level, these are the levels that I did not show. We normally show this in a 2 by 2. What are the sources of your complements and what is your technology? The source of your complements, are they in-house or are they outside? Your technology, is it open or is it closed? Right? You guys are with me? You need a break, you're falling asleep? Because this is the beginning of like a whole new lecture on platforms. Any questions? You want me to like run through this, Peter? I know like you are sleep starved. I am too, but like I am the professor.
Can you go back to the last slide real quick?
Yeah.
I just wanted to see something.
So again, ignore the indirect and direct, just those are network effects, there are number of users, there are complementary services. The reason he says direct network effect for complementary service is because that drives the business. And the indirect network, he's saying indirect, it's strictly not indirect, but that directly doesn't give him revenue. 1 billion people on Facebook doesn't give me money directly. So that's the way to look at direct and indirect. I won't like break my head over that. But there are complementary products and complementary services if you are a platform. So VHS tapes, the examples, Apple iPhone, even he argues in the book Barbie Doll is a platform. There is a whole business line of Barbie clothes and things like that. Okay. So strategy spectrum, where is the best place? So Betamax, Macintosh, they did not know the first iPod was probably mainly closed. It was product mainly strategy. I would like to argue that iOS is not closed. iOS is a platform because the largest number of apps are on iOS. So it's a platform, yes.
Yeah, that's where you start to leverage the value of an SDK, you know what I mean? And, you know,
Software development, what he is saying, software development kit which Microsoft gives. There was a time when I was a small business owner, it would be the best place for me to build my products would be on Windows because of the SDK. There are tons of other advantages of hooking up with Microsoft. For 3 years, all the software is free and the cloud products are free and all that. But right now we see that if I am a small business, do I just consume the SDK on Windows, or do I consume the SDK or the API on iOS? Because the apps can like make me a millionaire. It has happened many times over, many times for Indians who are doing that now. And you cannot ignore that anymore, right? So, any comments, Dan?
no, but I mean, you can keep your platform closed, but still open it via the SDK, which is a beautiful thing because you don't have to give away all your source code to give somebody an SDK.
Right.
You know, obviously the end product is going to be modular and sit on top of whatever you've created, but as long as it allows the developer to do what they want to do, then it's a great model for you and for the developer.
Right. So if it is mainly open and mainly outside, then it's a Linux. But if it is inside and open, we don't see a lot of that. Some of this is like again fuzzy, the world, not in 4 boxes, but it's like a sliding scale.
You were saying earlier that you thought you were arguing that one is better than the other. What would that be?
So in the last slide,
Yeah, I thought you were starting to say that one box is theoretically better than the other. Is that not what you were saying?
yes. What is lever 1, source of key complements? It could be outside if it's a say it's a make versus buy decision. So should I have, if I am a smaller player, I want the complementers to be outside because I can't pay their salaries. I will hire them on a contract basis. It is a choice that you make. But the platform has to be like, it's a strategy that he already gave the answer. You could have the SDK like Microsoft and Apple are doing. It is open selectively, and the whole thing is there isn't a best place. It is for you to decide based on where you are working, whether you want the complementers to be outside like Apple or like Microsoft. And so I would think that right now the source of key complements, it's outside, the ecosystem is outside, but the platform is closed. Everything is happening. They don't want to open it up. They don't want anybody to copy the idea. Would you agree? That's the best place right now. But again, I am saying that the world is not in 4 boxes. It's like little fuzzier. It could be. See, current iPhone, he is pushing it to, he's keeping it closed. It's the slides are a couple of years old. If I redid it, paying $50, else a current iPad. But let's look at these numbers. See, once they caught on to the platform strategy, and these numbers are coming from, I don't know if they're there in the book, but they're there.
I don't know.
Okay. So you can see where Microsoft was and where Apple was. Apple was like twice the size of Microsoft in 1995. We saw the video yesterday and Steve Jobs was worth 50 million, right? And what happened? Microsoft kept steadily growing. In 2000, and Apple kicked Steve Jobs out. They got John Sculley in, who was selling sugar water, and then he threw Steve Jobs out, and he ran the company to the ground, almost got Apple bankrupt. Luckily for Steve Jobs, he acquired a studio, Pixar, and sold it, became the largest business shareholder, came back, and in 2000 onwards, he started getting the strategy right. Around 2004 came the iPod. Around 2005 or 6 came, I think the book has a case, The first case, if you read the practice case, it's a case we didn't know what iPhone will do. After that it has just gone, oh, what is the revenue now? It's like 60 billion, something like that. It's growing, it will be 100 billion, right? Because they have dwarfed Microsoft actually, because the platform is stronger. The iOS has like two devices, the iPad and the iPhone. So that's in a nutshell the platform story, and the numbers speak for themselves. We'll just move on. So these are the platform battlegrounds that are going on in any business that you can think of. A platform is a compelling strategy in the sense you need complementers who will help you. You just can't do it all alone. If you are just a single person, then you have a friend and two of you are doing something in the garage. But if I have a business and a phone, I need complementers. So in web portals, in smartphones, in video games, even in a little thing as battery. I just put that in because my first job was actually with Union Carbide, which made red everyday batteries in India. And they thought, why didn't they ask me as a mechanical engineer, why didn't you take up the job with SAIL, Steel Authority? I said, man, I can't withstand the melting point of zinc. You think I will last near a blast furnace? That was a joke. I lasted only a couple of months and then moved to Bombay, joined TCS, a couple of years in software. Display e-ink, we see that here. Enterprise is a platform which kills in conjunction with services. It kills the competition. When I was a consultant and I thought I made good money, 60 bucks, 70 bucks per hour as an IT consultant, there were nuts guys who were SAP consultants. They came in, their apartment is paid for, their rental car is paid for. What are you? Oh, I am a SAP consultant. So it's not just the platform, or it's not just your product, it's also your service. See, the reason Sun Microsystems got killed was they did not ever have an effective services strategy. Now Microsoft was a strong platform player, so they are winning. IBM Sun, actually I should take Sun out because Sun is now part of Oracle. The company that killed Sun Microsystems was IBM, the big blue. And any question? Social networking, Facebook killed MySpace. Digital media, it's yet to be, the story is yet to be told who will then probably own it. Android, Microsoft, iOS, smartphones, Nokia, the Symbian is kind of dead there. So what are the lessons? So this is the first lesson. There are 6 lessons in this series and then we will break for lunch. So there is an implementation difference between a product and a platform strategy. Leverage your complements, how you open it up, Sam, how you compete, co-opete, whatever, biz dev, how to stimulate the ecosystem. So there are enormous differences. We saw VHS Betamax. They paid, like my brother-in-law paid 300 bucks for Sony, I paid 200 for JVC. It records as good, and you saw that Yogi ad, that's high definition. The stupid video. Still must understand the connection between product and platform strategy. Products should be good, but need not be the best. Platforms need support from complementers. Long time back, I was working as a programmer. I was a hacker. I subscribed to a hacker magazine, Logical Interactive Network Compiler. It was a cool product, a 4GL, 4th generation language, built on top of Unisys mainframes, Burroughs, then Unisys. But a stupid product from IBM killed it because they have the complementers. Who are the complementers? IBM Global Services. They have caught on to the fact that it's not just the product, it's the service. So everything is top down, from Sam Parmesano onwards. Okay, we have 300,000 people, 150,000 are the services, and 100,000 of them are in India. Okay, you are Indian, what do you do? Do you pack your bags, move to Bangalore? Or you want, you're a citizen, too bad, can you? They do that every day. So in any case, let's move on to services, not just products. That's the second point.